but Arsenal got the job done. And do you know what I found really interesting tonight? I saw why have Arsenal gone with such a strong squad. This is the duplicity when it comes to the Arsenal sort of punditry that I've gone from hating to loving. Genuinely gone from hating it to loving it. For years, I saw people moaning too strong a starting lineup. We've got to manage injuries. I remember it like in years gone by when Arsenal haven't taken this competition seriously. It was, how dare we disrespect this tournament? How dare we disrespect the trophy? We must play a stronger team. I saw so much of that on the TL tonight before kickoff, and I just thought to myself, do you know what? They'll never do it, these whingy, moany Arsenal fans. But I'd pay them to come on the Football Terrace and do it. But ahead of time, they've got to say exactly what they want to see and stick to it. I don't think they'd ever do it. I feel like they always want to wait so they can react in which way. Because I think if it was a weak Arsenal team tonight, it would have been, we disrespected the tournament. It's a stronger one, and it's, we're risking injury. Well, which of the two things do you want Arteta to do? Not play any of these bigger players in case they get injured? or not disrespect the tournament? I just find the duplicity hilarious. It's fun to watch. It's fun watching Arsenal rattle its negative fans. It really, really is. But look, Arsenal, were they amazing tonight? No. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh my God, it was the greatest game of football I've ever witnessed in my life. Port Vale, they should feel proud of their performance. They run their backsides off. I don't know who they play this weekend in League One. I know it won't be Leyton Orient because they played them recently and lost. They're away to Barnsley. Where are Barnsley in their league? I think they're pretty high. 6th. It was Bradford at the top. I'm predicting they get beat 3-0 or more this weekend. And I think, and I don't mean this rudely, they really did give their all tonight. They are going to be in so much pain tomorrow. They're going to get beat bad at the weekend. But you know what? For some of these players, this may be the biggest game and the most famous team with some of the best players in the world in it. And they got to challenge the likes of Saka, Eze, Saliba tonight, to name just a few. So of course they were going to give it their all, and they made it hard at times. What I thought was really interesting this evening, and I want to speak to the panel when it comes out about this, is at the weekend they and I said that Arteta was a bit too negative, not enough of the creators on the pitch, and Martinelli and Eze's name came up, and I thought it was interesting that they both started tonight, and yet there still, for large parts of the game, wasn't enough creativity, which I thought was interesting, and I'd just love to get their take on it. You know, my view is very much Port Vale just pressed and worked hard and made it difficult, and I think that Arsenal sort of played within themselves. Oh, look, they had 81% of the ball, but I think they played a little bit within themselves. But what was really important tonight from Arsenal, from my point of view as an outsider, is Eze getting off the mark, Eze getting his first goal. I spoke about this with Alexander Isak last night and how attacking players in the modern day game, the pressure is probably more profound and more acute, but long lasting than it's ever been. When you have the media, you have rivals, you have, I mean, you can see it in the live chat right now on the Football Terrace. Eze's being left alone. It's Gyökeres that's getting stick because, of course, he had an opportunity in a one-on-one and took too much of a heavy touch and went out onto the right and really sort of stopped himself from scoring more so than the block. But you see that he's getting that stick and he's already scored goals. It's important for the likes of Eze to start scoring, to start picking up that GA, because it just gets a certain group of cretins on the internet away from you. It stops the pundits and the media outlets, the likes of TalkSport, doing absolute crazy hit pieces. All these things, with all due respect to Eze, everybody knows what a talent I personally think he is. He's never experienced that before. He's never been through that kind of criticism. He's never had that type of pressure put upon him, because being a Crystal Palace player that's talented, you just get, barring when you play Brighton, it's just constant universal praise. And suddenly he'll be in a world where if he doesn't brush his teeth on time, if his shoelaces are wrong, and he'll get this soon, Eze, if his car's the wrong colour, if he's buying the wrong things for his mum, you know, the media outlet, everyone's going to come for him. And it's important that players like him get the goals, and he starts firing. He's got himself firing. He's got his first goal. Arsenal fans are going to want to see a lot more of that moving forward. And it was a very well taken goal as well, the way he shifted his body and buried it into the bottom corner. I think that's really, really important. I also liked what Arsenal did tonight, and I think they mean business this year. I'm not too sure if Arsenal play a team as strong as that in previous years. I'm not sure if this so... Maybe it's because the squad is now deeper, even with injuries. So when you do rest and rotate, the team just appears better. It might just be a case of the approach has always been the same, but the squad is just now better, deeper, stronger than it used to be. But I've watched Tottenham for many years in domestic trophies. Arsenal have been another team, especially in the League Cup, where I just don't think they've taken it as seriously as others. In fairness, the League Cup was always a competition where Sir Alex Ferguson rotated a lot. I'm not comparing what they were doing, but the modern day football, that was kind of up until around 2006, 2007. And then there was all these teams with more money. There was a difference. There's a shift in sort of the financial power in this country. And Fergie started taking it a lot more seriously. We won it in 06. We won it in 09. We won it in 2010. We won it, I want to say we won it 4 times under Fergie. I might be exaggerating that, in that period where there was a good 15 or so years prior to that where he didn't care as much. And I think you've got to take it more seriously. You've got to play stronger teams. I remember Jose season 1 at Man United. We did play City early on in the competition, but we played a few smaller teams. And I remember that I had sort of my Fergie, even though he'd won the tournament, I always had the Fergie mindset of, I wonder what kids we'll see tonight. And the starting lineup would come out and there's one kid on the bench and it was just the first team with a bit of rotation. And he went on to win it. And I think it's really important that Arsenal do that because there is so much competition to win trophies. And I think what's probably led to this point of there being so much pressure upon Mikel is the fact that he hasn't picked up another FA Cup there, another League Cup there, that sort of would have reduced that pressure over that period of time, given Arsenal fans some additional glory. So I really do think it's important that he tries to win it. Yes, as I said at the top, there'll be people that will still criticise it. Why was Saka on the pitch? We need him for the weekend. Why is Saliba starting? He just got over an injury. This is ridiculous. Why is Gyökeres coming on? He might have picked up an injury. And I suppose there's an element of me that understands where individuals are coming from with that. At the same time, just go back through their TLs, go back through their TikToks, go back through their YouTube videos. There'll be the same people that moaned and cried and boo-hooed and bitched that they didn't take these tournaments seriously in the first place. And as I said, there is a massive duplicity, a massive element of speaking out of both sides of your face that comes with the territory, I suppose, when it comes to Mikel Arteta. It's almost like he can't do right for doing wrong, and maybe only when there's a trophy being lifted. From an Arsenal perspective, God willing, for the rest of us, of course, we don't want that. We want our teams winning it. Maybe that is when things will finally start to settle down in that regard. But I wouldn't necessarily, if you're an Arsenal fan that's hoping for that, I wouldn't hold your breath. I wouldn't be holding your breath if I'm absolutely honest with you. But look, they got it done. Trossard late on, really good ball over the top from Saliba. From a negative standpoint, when it comes to Arsenal tonight, I do think they've got to move the ball a little bit quicker. I felt maybe because they scored early, in the second half, there was a little bit of complacency. But I really liked it when Dalman came on. Dalman just has this youthful exuberance. Give me the ball, I'm going to run at a player. I don't care if it doesn't work first time, second time, 3 times a lady. I'm just going to keep trying. And I thought he was a breath of fresh air when he came on. I think also bringing Gyökeres on helped get that next goal because of the way he acts as an out-and-out number 9. It opens up that gap between the midfield and defence. Yes, Port Vale at that later stage started leaving less players back because they thought, because that was Port Vale's goal here. Let's let Arsenal have the ball. Let's sit deep. Let's sit in. Let's nullify them. Let's stink the gaff out. And let's try late on in the game to grab. It would have initially been grab a winner, but they conceded, grab an equaliser and take it to penalties. And just as with those subs late on, stretching that play a little bit, ball over the top to Trossard. I'm not saying I'm not a fan of Trossard. Very, very good player. Great record from the bench for Arsenal. Kills the game off. 2-0. It's done and it's dusted. But look, I want to get your thoughts. I want to get your opinions in that comment section below. Make sure like buttons have been hit as well for us. Please, people, get that done now.